this is Aspire, which is basically software which is designed for the CNC machines, but you can do modelling within it. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a 3D fish, if you will. So it's only what they call 2.5D. So it's only going to have depth on one plane, if you will. So create a new file, and we're going to create a file which is 12 inches by 4 inches. You can use millimeters, of course, as well.
Please.
Yeah.
For the Portuguese guy in here. You're okay.
Maybe.
And then you can set a depth on it. So we'll set a depth initially of 1 inch. Because it's working with 3D, you also have a datum point. So it's where you're going to work from. So you can set it at either any of the corners, or you can use an offset. I just normally usually set it bottom left hand corner. And very strangely, it's software which is purely pixel based, even though it's doing the 3D images from off there. So you set to the highest value that you can get onto. And you've also got an appearance, so I've set it to Canadian Maple. And we'll click on OK. So that's my workspace set up now. So what I want to do is I'm wanting to import a bitmap. And I need to get to the desktop. And the bitmap I'm installing is this rainbow trout. So we're going to make that into a 3D model.
Up
basically.
or down? Down. Stupid question.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
up. Okay.
Yeah.
You can do up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what we can do, if we go into the object size.
Because when you're carving, you're going down. But yeah.
Yeah,
I get it,
we
yeah.
can do it either way.
You can do it. Yeah.
It's how you do it from off the thing. So because it's linked together, I'm going to set it to 4 inches. And that then brings it in. The way that I'm going to be modelling this initially is I'm going to be using 2 rail sweeps. I don't know if you use them at all in Blender or whatever. Basically what it is, you have what's called a guide rail.
Right.
Which is a line which is on the image. And then you've put a shape between them. So what you do for that, let's just alter this feedback. Properties, where are we? It's fading back too far. Now this is a new version of the software which I haven't used. You should just click on set properties. Right, we'll leave it for the moment. Basically what you just do is you just go and literally very, very quickly around the outside of the shape you want it to create. You can then press N for node edit. And again, which one is it on here? You can convert it to a Bezier, and then you can map the actual points to the actual shape that you're creating. Obviously this takes a while, so what I have done, I'm going to import the vectors. I've actually already created all the vectors.
It's a blue Peter moment.
Here's what
It
I
is a blue
prefer. Here's one to do.
So I'll delete that one that I've created because I don't need that. So what I've got is, if I zoom right in, you can see there's two open vectors. There's a closed vector which goes all the way around the shape what I'm going to be using. And then the shapes for the head, the fins, etc. So what I want to do initially is to do this 2-rail sweep, which is under modelling. So select the two vectors I want. And then go to 2-rail sweep. What then that allows you to do is use your selection. I did have both of them selected. There you go. Use selection. So that's a shape that I'm going to create the body of the fish out of. And I can apply.
So basically what you're doing is you're taking that dome curve
shape
and rail it through those two open...
Yeah, but it also scales it to height. So what it does is scale across cross sections with width. The wider it is,
the higher
it is. Yeah. So if I go into the view, that's what I've effectively created at the moment. What I can also do is, using these 2-rail sweeps, is I can add in extra rails. So at that point, I want that shape to finish, and then I can add in the flatter shape for the actual tail area. So it actually flattens the image out. Oops, we don't want to back up. So it's got basically, yeah, you've got the three different shapes. You've got the two reds, which are this shape, the two yellows, which are the flatter shape.
And when you render it,
when you apply it, it flattens it out. What you can now do, we'll close that, is we can use this shape, which is the actual outline of the fish, to actually trim that shape. So it'll then shape it into
like a cookie cutter.
Basically cookie cutter, yes. Which is clear outside selected component outside of vectors. So I've got to select that and then the shape. Oops, I've done the wrong one.
It's cleared inside.
Yeah.
you've done the difference instead of
Yeah.
the cookie cutter.
Outside the selected vectors, there we go.
So basically you can do difference and
Yeah.
intersection.
That one.
Mr. Bull has a lot to answer for.
So what it now have, just click to Z, you can see where the mouth is, it's now cut in for the mouth, etc. What you can also do, like this, you can add on, very similar to what you were doing before with adding the shapes in, you can add a sculpt mode onto it. So you've got the shape there. I want it to have a fairly steep edge, but what I want to do is I want to limit it to a height of let's try that, 0.05. So what it's done, it's just added a dot on. And it's basically playing around with these limits to height. Let's go for exact height, that's what I wanted. Sorry.
Googly eye fish.
No, it's got 2 decimal points in. There we go.
Ah.
So that's created my eye shape. Now I want to create the head. So I can start a new component. I'll select the head. And again, I don't want it to be quite as steep. And I don't want it, basically no limit. And I can hit apply. So again, what that has done, it has created the head shape. What I want basically is I don't want it to be up at the front edge, I want it to just be up at the back edge, so I can actually put a tilt onto it. So using the tilt, set from there to there, and it sets it initially at 10 degrees. We can alter that.
Fetch me a fish and a protractor.
Yeah.
What angle is your fish at?
Strangely, this is a default fish.
You go angling, do you?
I never knew that's what that was all.
Come on, silly thing.
Explains why the old math professor likes going fishing.
Again, I can use my cooker cutter
To
go back
refine
in-
the mouth
to
thing.
go back in and refine the mouth. So you select the shape you want to work from, and then the shape you want to use, and again trim. So now you've got
You get your mouth back.
your half back. Again, we go on, create a new component. And again, we want it to add on to the actual image that's on there.
So it knows to add it to the contours of the ship.
It adds it
Fishes.
onto the top of it, yeah. And again, I can use tilt. And I want to tilt. Set the angle.
Really cool.
And you can see how it's brought in the shape of that. So again, start new component, go to the next shape. Basically same again, use the settings as it was. Don't need to tilt with this one because it's basically one of the fins at the back of the fish that's showing, so I don't need to tilt it in from that one. Start a new component. Again, apply.
And that one
But I
you'll
do need to tilt, yeah.
Then hit set.
Again, start new component. Apply. Now, because of where this one is, it's a slightly flatter one, so I can alter this angle down so that it flattens it out. And again, tilt. Set. From there. Oops, got to do it on the right one. To there. New component. tilt. The wrong component set, that's why.
You might just put a tilt on the body.
Right.
So again, that's tilted that one in. Again, new component. Take that fish off. It's in the way. Again, and apply.
And a tilt.
Don't need to do that.
Oh, that
to get
way,
some-
okay,
it's
because in the
back,
middle
yeah.
it's in
Yeah.
the
Yeah,
axis of the fish.
yeah. That's the basics of it done from there. Now what you can do is you can go and actually sculpt it. So you've got, where are we sculpting? So again, as you got in Blender, you've got smooth, smudge, deposit, remove, undo brush, and the twiddle view, which I don't know. But basically, I want to smooth down. You can alter the size of the brush. I basically want to smooth down this top area of the fish. Push the strength a bit more. I'll basically just try and blend it in. So it blends that shape in a bit more. You can do it for all of these from off here as well. What you can then do, as itself, that's a basic 3D model of the fish. If you go back and turn on your bitmap layer, you can create a component from the selected bitmap. You need to scale it. Where are we? Right, that gives us our basically texture. What I can then do is go in under modelling and again just finding where they are.
When you say texture, does it use the colors as a height map?
Yes, effectively what it
Yeah.
does. It uses black as being the deepest in and white as being the highest up.
Okay.
So can you feed this to a 3D printer as well?
You could do,
Oh.
yes, yeah. Yeah. Da, 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 da. So what I'm doing is I'm smoothing it down to get rid of the
Yeah.
natural texture that's noise. I'll never put the
Has it got the
Yeah.
bitmap layer on?
Hmm?
There's a bitmap layer overriding it also.
Yeah. That's what it is, unbaked it. It should
You
superimpose it on the two.
your smoothing go back down to minimum. Did you want it at minimum?
No.
The smoothing.
Alright. That's why I put two smooth models. And that needs to go up. And again,
That's a very weird mix of Photoshop and 3D stuff.
it's very strange.
Because, like you said, there's some kind of layers. We only have layers in bitmap
Yeah.
related stuff, or Inkscape, or
Yeah.
it has that. But we're still it's still an image. What you get out of it is
Yeah,
PNG
it's
or
very, very strange.
yeah, but it is. But I like the fact that everything has a lot of little clicky things for options. As
There
in-
are options for everything, yeah.
It's a little bit parameterized, but
Yeah.
it's more mouse related than input numbers related.
Yeah. What I'll do, I'll load the finished one in because it's easier.
Here's one I finished earlier.
Yeah.
Have to save as. It's thinking still.
It's definitely playing up at the moment.
Yeah, you just did file new and then saved as wherever you
Yeah.
were going instead of open.
Yeah.
So I think you've just saved over your final one. Your rotator, has it actually got the...
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Yeah. The texture's actually on it as a depth.
That's actually nice to use for when you want to do a pumpkin carve of an image,
Yeah.
so you can have the light
Like
shine.
a lithophane.
Yeah.
There we go. That's better.
Fantastic.
It's on your wooden background.
Yeah. So you can see that it actually picks up the texture from off. You can then machine it. So again, you've got your model thickness. That's how deep the model actually is that top area from off there. You can move that down. So you can set a gap above the model or gap below the model. So that you can move it down, up or down in the model. And then OK. And this will create a roughing tool path.
Alright.
It's a preview all tool paths. You can see it's only just taken the levels from off there. I can then go in, there's that, and do the smooth tool path. And what I'm going to use here is a much smaller tool. So I'm going to use a 2mm end mill. I'm going to edit that down so it's just 1mm. And hit calculate. And then again, preview all tool paths this time.
Cool.
And you can see it actually shapes it up. I've got other tool paths selected, which is why you've got the borders, etc. from off there. If I go into open some of the existing ones, this is one from a digital elevation map, which basically the Americans give you free. And it's, as you can see, it's just a grey shaded image, which you can then run exactly the same tool paths on. So you can run the 3D mapping tool paths. That's as a 3D model basically. And then if you preview all tool paths,
Wow.
so it gives you the whole of the Lake District, etc. in 3D.
Okay, I really want that on the wall.
We're all thinking that. Yeah.
Yeah. Do a 10" by 10".
Just set that
Image.
machine up with it, we'll print the QR.
The other thing you can do is import a bitmap. You can take an image like that, and then you can basically turn that into an outline. So for that, you can set it either to purely black and white, this is okay.
That's how you did your
The
granite
yeah,
thing.
That's it, yeah. So again, preview. That's what I was wanting. So apply. Now I can go into my toolpath, and this is what they call a V-carve toolpath. You get a bit which actually is like an anti-degree angle at the bottom, and then you can say how it's going to actually do it from off there. So again, select my tool. I'm going to go to a V-bit, and I want a 90-degree 12mm V-bit.
Right.
All the speeds and feeds for how to run it on the machine are on here as well. So that he sets all of those from off it.
That's a really nice library.
And then calculate. Oops, let's select the vectors first.
So if you've got a really deep cut that needs 4 passes,
You've done.
It would-
You've not got V-cut. You've got a different one.
Yeah.
they'd program that in with it.
You first one is always a roughing path, which was the where you basically couldn't see the fish,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then if you've got really fine details, you'll then do a next roughing cut,
Right.
which is using a smaller bit again,
Yeah.
to where you're using the finest tools
Yeah.
to get the real deep depth,
That's
just so it's not having to move that much
Yeah.
material out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you've put it as a 2D
I know,
profile.
yes, I realise, yeah.
There we go.
Yeah. You can also set in flat depth. What that is, if it goes beyond a certain depth, with V-carve, if you have two lines which are very far apart, it'll carry on putting the V down at the angle, so it's at a 90-degree angle,
Right.
and you can be cutting down for literally miles.
Yeah.
So you can set it from off there. Calculate. I don't want that one. So that created my V-carve path. So if you can preview that. Oh, I think we selected the wrong one. There we go. Reset preview. that then. Reset preview.
And you have
You can see it's
Yeah.
actually carved in.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
So that's scanned just from a bitmap.
Yeah.
And it's detected all of
Yes. Yeah.
the black.
The cleaner the bitmap, the better it
Yeah.
is.
and the less in between.
Yeah.
You the best thing is to just get zeros and ones as in black and white.
Yeah.
And once you get that, any tracer will do it really quick.
Mm.
Yeah.
Can it take vector up for that? So like a DXF or a
Yes.
SVG?
Yeah, it's got DXF. It's got STL import as well.
Yeah.
You can take an STL in. You can take DXF. Basically, if you go into let's create a new file.
The only thing you've got to remember with the STLs is this software is working on 2.5D, not 3D.
Yeah.
Right.
But the new version that is due out any moment now will actually do two-sided machining in one go, so you can actually do almost a 3D.
2.5 plus 0.5. Because it's not really.
No, I know. You can actually do multi-side. It does do a proper 4-axis one, where it's got an unwrap, where you can put an image on and it'll unwrap it onto a circle effectively.
Oh, okay.
You can do that.
Surely two-sided at 2.5D is 5D.
But under import, if you
The
go
time
into
travel
5D
models.
CNC.
No, the 5D CNCs are just so expensive. They're lovely, but they're so expensive.
under vectors, you've got DXF, DWG, EPS, and Adobe Illustrator, PDFs, CRV files, etc., etc. So there's a whole range of vectors you can import into it.
Cool.
This is another VCarve one.
Yikes.
Inca, Maya,
Yeah.
The Aztec calendar.
Yeah.
Aztec. Oh, the Aztec calendar.
Yeah.
Yes.
The one that said the world war.
The one that says we're already dead.
But again, that's all V-carved.
That's a major wow.
Yeah.
That must take a little while to cut, though.
It does, yeah. You're talking into the days.
Days?
Yeah.
Yes.
Print it and mould it. There we
Yeah.
go.
Oops. Go into that.
People have.
Yeah.
Bang it in Blender and don't even print it.
The down
Look at
button
it on
at
the
the bottom.
screen.
Yeah.
Oh, mate.
That's all I wanted. Right. For importing STL, again, create an image. Let's do 24 by 30, say. File, import, and then you go into that you want to import in a 3D model. And it then brings up an import box in a second.
Volume down. Take picture.
Here you can set where it is, the actual sizes, etc. So we want it basically on its Y to be 30, we said. And then we can accept that in.
Bloody hell.
So that's our 3D image that we're doing from off there. That's the 3D view. So if we go to toolpaths, again, rough it. I'm saying it's too thick.
You
needs to
actually
be
have
2 inches.
in that corner there. You actually have the 3 X's.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, we'll set a largish tool to start off with as a rough
You see, okay.
Yeah.
and calculate that. And then we can go off and preview that. That's what it's carving out from that one. And then we can do the smoothing one and calculate that. We've got 1 mm set already, so that's good. This can take a while.
Imagine.
Oh, the bar is not even giving you a percentage. It's just going like that because
Yeah,
I don't know when.
You know what it's doing? It's trying to. It's going on at different angles and trying to work out which angle it can get the best image out of it
Yeah, okay.
effectively. So it keeps running backwards and forwards. And again, preview all tool paths.
And you get it closer.
Yeah. What you can then do is create a vector boundary from selected components. That should have, there you go, a very fine line around it. Which you can then use to cut it out. So it's 2 inches deep, so we cut down to 2 inches. Again, the tool. And that's cut it out.
And you were doing the roughing and then the finer. Are you piling up G code or are you
Effectively, yeah. What it's doing is if you go into here,
Oh, okay.
you've got the save
Okay.
for the
Okay.
G,
I get it.
the G code on here, so you can save the tool path. You can save the G code out, and then that allows you to go in from there. So it'll have a G code for the roughing path. It'll have a G code for the finish path, and a G code for the profile.
Okay.
So that you then, if you've got a tool changer on your machine, you can have it set into 1. But if you haven't, what it'll do is it'll run that one, then you'll change a tool, it'll run the next one, change a tool, change the next one, change the tool.
So my question was it piling up there? And I see it is. You have the 3 operations that you've done: the roughing, the finish, and the profile, which is removing the bits that you don't want. And you can then have it if the machine has a auto change thing. It's one big G code,
one big file,
one big file, and then it takes care of that.
What happens in the tool here? If you go into one of these in the tool library. Each tool has a tool number, so that's tool number 1. So the next tool will have tool number 2. So an automatic tool changer will go, right, at this point I need to go and grab that tool, that point I need to go and grab that tool, and it changes it that way. So it knows from off there. And they say all your speeds and feeds and how much step over, past depth, etc. is all coded within this.
That looks very similar to the tools database in
Fusion 360, yeah.
Yeah.
It's very much
I
similar.
think it's probably the same file format, isn't it?
Funny enough, there's another company called ArtCam, and they've obviously come from the same original group because the software's so similar. You can swap between them two virtually instantaneously. And they're both English companies in the same area, so it looks like it's one company that's just split into 2.
Someone's left.
And so yeah, the coded between the pair of them.
Be interesting to know whether it's the same original code base that's been forked, or if it's like just the other one sort of took the same interface and ideas.
And then finally, we have the Harley logo.
Yes.
So what you can do with that is you can actually select all the profiles that you want. So you want, if you're going to have all of these set to a set height, you can go select each of the ones and then set it to a height using the modelling tab under here. You can set how high you want it to be, etc. Against one I've already done. So again, if I just preview the toolpaths. Let's keep it right to the top. There you go. So again, you can see it would be full stood out. And I cut that one out of foam. Just got the identity foam. You cut it out of that, and then you just paint it on top, and away you go. Nice lightweight signs.
Yeah.
But again, it's a very powerful package, but there's so much you can do with it.
It's trying to because we're still thinking about the medium that we have. It's a piece of wood that you want to carve out, and then you have the whole thing of the tools that you're applying, and what's the curvature, or is it a 90 flat one? Is it a V one? It is a round one, and then the whole thing has to be integrated into the math of it.
Yeah.
I think that makes some sense into what you're doing. Yeah.
So it's like this one is much more targeted at the milling machine and an operator for that, going from I want this to this, and it's actually really it's very powerful. It has got features that stuff like Fusion doesn't have, but Fusion has the ultimate flexibility, or FreeCAD or Blender is I wouldn't want to do half of this in Blender. No offence, but
No, but I mean for the STL generation, things like that, it's important.
Would be a piece of piss in Blender.
Yeah.
You get the vectors, bang them in,
Yeah.
fill them
Yeah.
in, extrude them.
That's it.
yeah. So but like
Doing
things like-
signage in Blender is easy.
yeah. So stuff like the
That doorway, unless you already had that as a mesh, would have been a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
Yeah, but going to machine bit, this is definitely designed for going as quickly as possible from this to machined.
Yeah.
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 I was thinking it's sort of, I don't know if this is right, but it strikes me as a program that's been designed for people who've come to it from traditional carving, maybe.
To a degree,
I don't know.
but it's using
Like compared to people who've come into it from a sort of geeky direction, but I don't know if that's right or
probably yes. Yeah.
right.
It's designed as a professional tool. I mean,
Right.
that's a £1,500 package
Yeah, right.
on its full one. But it's very, very powerful. There's way more than what I've just touched on inside it. I say you can actually unwrap things. You can cut screw threads. You can do Celtic knotwork, for example. That's built into it.
Yeah.
Under these gadgets, you got the Celtic knotwork producer, so you can just click on an intersection
Right.
and change how it links.
That's neat, yeah.
So you can just play around with that, and that would give you a three. Again, you can have fancy shapes on it, etc. So you can have put shapes in.
Yeah.
It'll import ordinary true type fonts, so you can carve a true type font out as
You
well.
can get a lot of interesting true type fonts as well.
You
can't
can.
you? Yeah.
There's also a way to do inlays on it. You can do using this V carve,
All right.
the V toolpath.
Yeah.
You can actually cut an inlay
Right.
where it then slots straight into it, and then you just face it off. And
Yeah.
it gives you a full inlay into it.
Right.
And so you can do 4 axis on it. You can't do 5 axis as yet.
That requires a degree to figure it
And
out.
the cost of the machine.
Yeah, let's not say that either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it will do a proper 3 axis, 4 axis. Sorry. It'll also work with drag knives, so you can put a sheet of vinyl on, and you can create a 2D shape, and it'll cut that 2D shape out of vinyl.
Nice. Or leather, or insert flat material that can be cut with a knife here.
That's it. So the wrapping, you've got fluting spirals, wrap job setups. That's where you can actually unwrap an STL to it. So one of the ones they give us a demonstration is a chest piece. You unwrap it. The problem is you get a slight seam down the back. It's not perfect, but again, it's something that can be sanded out.
Yeah, it is. Sweet.
But not a full package. But when you put it straight out to the CNC, it's fun.